All right, so this may come off a little bit controversial in this video, and I'm very well aware of that, but it needs to be said. Most people are building their health and fitness on sand and not the rock. Unfortunately, I would say probably 99% of those out there teaching how to get healthy and fit are teaching the world's way. And unfortunately, that is synonymous with regaining weight and getting in shape and then backsliding because it does not fit into one's life right. All right. So, unfortunately, most of the time people focus on external tactics like meal plans, workouts, hacks, supplements, GLP-1s, all of this stuff, but they ignore the 5 foundational forces that actually determine whether that effort stands or crumbles under pressure. All right. The thing is that you've been told to find the perfect diet or the perfect workout or the best supplements or what type of GLP-1 is going to be best for you, or what sort of perfect scenario is going to get the weight off or is going to get you healthy and fit. But the word says that the wise actually build their house on the rock. When the storm comes, this means that the foundation is what determines what stands, not the paint on the walls. And what I mean by that is if you're building your health and fitness on the rock, the foundation is going to be the most important, not the paint in the walls or paint on the walls inside of the house, which is the equivalent of meal plans, working with a trainer, but not actually working on identity and alignment and all of that. Now, I know very, very well from myself and from doing this for 20 years as a fitness coach that it is incredibly tempting to keep chasing the perfect diet, the best workout, the newest hack, the latest supplement. In fact, that's one of the questions I've gotten so often is, hey, Lance, what do you think about this new supplement, called like the Dynamax 360 muscle builder fat loss killer thing? Like, it's all this stuff that almost sounds like it's out of a sitcom. And my usual response is like, hey, I don't keep up with supplements very much. I mean, I'll take a look at it for you, but if you're not dialed in on some of these other things, it's not going to make much of a difference. And I usually get like a puzzled look, but I thought you're a fitness coach. I thought you've been a trainer and a nutrition specialist and all this stuff. Why would you not talk about it? Well, because there's bigger things that are more important, and supplements just don't really do it. They don't really create that lasting transformation. So the thing is that all of those methods are just surface level tactics. They don't do anything for the internal, nor do they change the foundation. If the foundation is unstable, nothing lasts. So what you need is to anchor your health and fitness to the 5 foundational forces that actually drive long-term results. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let me go ahead and share this here, and here we go. So the thing is that as you see over here, the old Lance was built on sand. I was about 27 or 28 years old then. I was a personal trainer still and a nutrition specialist, certified in all kinds of things. But unfortunately, everything I did still led to me second guessing myself on camera. So on camera as a business owner and a trainer and all this stuff, I was embarrassed to have my shirt off even around my wife. And that's not a good thing for somebody in their 20s, who is, again, trying to have a very healthy marriage where you're safe and comfortable and able to be vulnerable. It was affecting that. I lived by clean slate Mondays that never lasted because I was so focused and fixated on eating the perfect food and being healthy all the time that unfortunately I just didn't have any balance. I had food avoidance. I had nonstop food cravings, a poor relationship with food, and I always felt flat and foggy. Flat meaning muscle flatness, feeling like I just wasn't getting anywhere, and I couldn't figure out why. Now, fast forward to this is last year. Yes, I realize my shirt is off. If you understood how uncomfortable that is to do, that'll go far enough. I am more of what you would call like the reluctant leader. I have things to teach. I've done this for a long time. I loathe being in the social media scene because I'm more the guy that prefers to be behind the scenes, behind the camera, okay? Or sorry, behind the curtain. And being in front of the camera is not really my scene, okay? But here I am. This is what I've got to do. And it's important that you get this. When I rebuilt my habits, my mindset, my metabolism, and aligned everything with the word, from the inside out, everything changed. So this is me about 6-8 months ago at 39 years old, where I I'm going to say that I feel like I look better. I definitely feel better than what I did here with all this inflammation and focusing on external things only. Now, again, in this photo, even at almost 40 years old at the time, more body confidence, confidence on camera and in my life. I had a flexible system that means that I get to enjoy my foods, which gave me food freedom, no more constant cravings, and I have energy for family, for business, for my calling without constantly focused on perfect food and perfect workouts and all of that stuff, okay? Now, what happens is we want to focus on alignment versus misalignment. This is why faith-driven high achievers actually continue to get fit and healthy and then backslide. They lose weight and then they regain it. They get a little bit good and then they go backwards. The thing of it is that most of the time, people are doing these outside focused health and fitness methods that are built on sand instead of the rock, right? So this means that they're compartmentalized. They're not all inclusive that allow you to fit your life, your busy professional life, your business owner life, your Bible aligned life with your family. And instead, what you get when you do this, you get loss of lean body mass. You feel hungry, tired, and fluffy. You get skinny fat. You actually notice that you need nonstop willpower. You always backslide into unhealthy body and life over and over because it's unsustainable doing the outside in only thing. It's rigid. You've got cravings and food avoidance, conflicting beliefs and self-sabotage, and emotional eating happens. The list goes on and on. Whereas when you do it the inside out and holistic way, the way that's built on the rock instead of sand, you get increased strength and health. You feel satisfied, satiated, and fit. Okay? At this point, you have optimal hormones, sex hormones, and your stress hormones. Your metabolism is where it needs to be. You have flexible eating as opposed to rigid eating. And just like the word says, light is the burden and easy is the yoke, so you get no backsliding because you're not aiming for external perfectionism. This is habits that align with ideals and lifestyle without shame. This one is non-stop shame over here on the left, okay? You can't outwork a broken system that is designed to fail you. Why is it designed to fail you? Well, because number one, it is designed for fast results, not for permanent results. If we're doing it the Bible way, we want things that are permanent, okay? We want to steward well over our health, our fitness, our bodies, so that what we've invested in, we get long-term ROIs, okay? Then we're told again, well done, thy good and faithful servant, because we have invested, we have stewarded well over what we've been given. That's the idea here, okay? So, with that said, there are 5 hidden forces that kill your health and fitness ROI, but they also will kill your actual ROI from your business, from your career, your marriage, all of these things, because things are not into alignment, all right? So what you need to know is that there are 5 hidden forces. Number 1 is movement. Poor movement is going to lead to cognitive decline, so you're not going to be as sharp or creative, or ability to problem solve will be declined as well. Low energy, and it accelerates your aging. Now, the good news is you don't need 2-a-days for workouts. You don't need 6 times a week for your workout splits, but you do need movement that fits your life and restores your edge, okay? Then we've got stress. Stress is on the right, movement is on the left. I'll explain what that means in a minute. But you got to know that when you have poor stress management and too much, it leads to exhaustion, which then blocks your fat loss, kills your focus, crashes your testosterone, lowers your thyroid function, all of this stuff. So then no amount of training or nutrition is going to be able to save the results because your stress is just out of whack, all right? Then back on the left again, movement and nutrition are going to be on the left, stress and another one are going to be on the right, and I'll explain that as we go. So after your nutrition is going to affect your daily performance, cognitive function. So again, just like movement, your cognitive function is affected, and your immune system, all right? If your food drains your energy, your focus, or your health, you're bleeding ROI, whether that's in your business, your career, or your health and fitness, okay? So movement and nutrition, everybody knows those are important. And when I say movement, we're talking about your everyday activity, and we're talking about exercise. And then lastly, on the right is sleep, okay? So poor sleep is going to impair your function like being legally drunk. So I believe it's about 5 hours and under is going to begin causing this, but You can also get 8 hours of sleep and not get enough REM or deep sleep, and you're still going to have that same scenario, okay? Poor sleep wrecks your recovery of both mental and below the neck, which is going to be your body, okay? Making sure that you've got the energy that you need and that your body actually recovers so your joints aren't hurting and aching and your body doesn't feel beat up, all right? So it also is wrecking your cognition, your metabolism, hormones, and your motivation, all because of poor sleep. So if you're getting good exercise and movement and good nutrition, but your stress and sleep are off, you're not going to see the results you want. But there's one more fifth one that most people don't ever talk about or even notice. And this is actually one that glues everything together. This is called misalignment. Now, misalignment is the force that is killing your ROI, whereas alignment, which we'll talk about in a minute, is what is going to boost your ROI and it's going to hold everything together. So misalignment is because usually you're building your health and fitness around short-term motivation instead of long-term identity. And this gives you a makeover instead of a transformation, which you don't want, all right? This means misaligned goals, habits, or values are going to make your consistency pretty dang hard to be kept up over time, all right? Strategies and tactics that don't fit the demands of leadership, family, business, or if you're watching this video, your church life, your walk with the Lord, okay? So if your internal identity and your external strategy actually don't match, self-sabotage is pretty much inevitable because you're basically, and if you've watched my videos this week pertaining to how that worked with thermostat and the snapback effect, this is why. It's because of misalignment. It impacts your nutrition, it impacts your movement, your sleep, your stress, your metabolism, and your long-term motivation. So if you've got all four of these dialed in, but it doesn't align with your lifestyle, your beliefs, or your goals, your mindset, your identity, unfortunately, it's all going to be temporary. So these are the four that are important for results. This is the most important one for keeping those results, all right? With that said, what we want to kind of see these as is that there are workers and gatekeepers, and then there's the operating system. So nutrition and exercise are your workers or your movers, okay? But sleep and stress are your gatekeepers. Alignment is the operating system that everything runs on. So basically, if your movement and stress or movement and nutrition is good, but stress and sleep, which are the gatekeepers, are not, what this is that basically if the gates are closed, which is sleep and stress, the workers, movement and nutrition, can't get in to do what they need to do, all right? Now, that's a metaphor. It's not exactly how it works, but it is how it works on a metaphorical sense, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm just, today's age, you got to specify if you're being metaphorical or literal because the internet just attacks everything you do. So alignment is the operating system, though. So it's what holds everything together, all right? If they're off, it does not matter how hard you train, how perfect your meals are, your results are not going to be there or they're not going to last, all right? Force number one is movement, which is worker number one. It's going to affect your energy, cognitive function, fat loss, strength, immune system support. All of these things are being affected by movement, all right? What do we need out of movement? We need resistance and we need heart rate elevation. When we have those two, now, obviously you're going to have less, more, etc., but those are the two main things that we need when it comes to movement. When we get adequate movement, it's going to help with dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. These are all your happy producing hormones, all right? These are going to help you to think better, to be in better moods, to be more cognitively, let's say, inclined so that your problem solving is better, all right? It's also going to help mental sharpness. It's going to increase your daily energy and your total daily energy expenditure, which is how many calories you burn in a given day. It's your metabolism. So if you're not moving enough and you're like, man, I just can't keep the weight off, or I'm just not feeling as good, you gotta increase that movement. If you're not using resistance training, I don't care if you're trying to lose weight and you only care about the scale. If you really care about getting healthy, you've got to make sure that your movement is good, all right? Then we've got worker number two, which is nutrition. It's going to affect your metabolism, your hormones, fat loss, energy, mood, and muscle protein synthesis, all right? So what do we need to look for out of nutrition? Number one, healthy energy balance. That's the right amount of calories to fuel your life activities and your lifestyle. Second part is macronutrient structure. Yeah, we need micronutrient structure, but when we're talking about the main drivers, macronutrients, protein, carbs, fats, and even though fiber is a micronutrient, we're going to include that because it does directly affect your fat loss because of the thermic effect of food or thermic effect of feeding. So this improves and maintains your metabolism. It's going to increase your lean body mass, which means that as you do a fat loss phase, you're in a calorie deficit, it's going to mean that your metabolism stays up because of lean body mass, which is muscle, bone, etc. All right. It's also going to help mitigate insulin and glucose timing. That means that it's going to take you further away from type 2 diabetes. It's going to take you further away from insulin resistance and closer to insulin sensitivity. All right. This is what we want here. It's a good thing. It's going to help your immune system. It also allows for consistent energy throughout the day so you're not up and down, up and down. And if you're feeling that way, your nutrition is likely off, whether it's from glycemic index control or whether it's from timing or just not enough calories or way too many calories or macronutrient balance. Any of those can affect it, all right? It's going to help with mood stabilization and mental focus. And it's also going to downregulate leptin, which means that when your nutrition isn't dialed in, you're not going to feel full. You're going to feel like you're hungry when you're not, and you're not going to feel satiated. And then it gets worse because you get an increased amount of ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone telling you, I'm starving, I need to eat. So this can affect your fat loss. This can affect you gaining weight. All of this is because of poor nutrition, all right? Then we've got force number 3, which is our first gatekeeper. This is stress. It's also, just like you've seen, got a cat here in my mouth, just like you've seen, you should be seeing on the what it impacts part, should be seeing some overlap, right? Metabolism, hormones, fat loss, testosterone, mood, digestion. This is the first one where we're talking about digestion, but nutrition does as well. And immune system, we're seeing again, guys, if you're seeing stress can affect the same things that your nutrition can and your movement, your exercise. So it's important not to basically to overlook stress. Now, what do we need to focus on for balance for stress? Well, we need balance of stress hormones and sex hormones. Stress hormones, like elevated cortisol, is going to slow your testosterone. Fat oxidation, which is fat usage, basically. Muscle building, brain function, and digestion. Guys, that is a bad day when we've got all of those in the dumps, all right? Then we've got your heart rate variability. If that is under 40 milliseconds, this means that your body is unadaptive and stuck in fight or flight mode, also known as sympathetic nervous system mode, all right? When we get it higher, we go into parasympathetic nervous system mode, which means that now our body is restorative and resting and muscle supporting instead of using everything because it's in that fight or flight and survival mode, all right? When these are off, we also get increased fat storage. Again, just like we talked about in the last one, leptin and ghrelin get off as well. So that means that your hunger and your satiation is not going to be normalized. Your cravings go up, your immune function goes down, and your resting metabolic rate, which is how many calories you burn at rest, also suppresses. It gets lower, means that you're not burning as many calories as what you should and what you used to, all because your stress and sex hormone balance is off. Lastly, reduce testosterone and thyroid function. If you don't know, these greatly affect muscle and fat loss, okay? It's a big deal. The final gatekeeper number 2, is sleep. Now, you can call it 1 or 2, but for this presentation, it's 2. Again, it's going to affect your recovery. I'll talk about a little bit of that in a second. Brain function, just like the others. Muscle building, your RMR, which is your metabolic rate. That's, again, how many calories you're burning at rest. Your immune system, your mood and emotions, and your decision-making and problem solving. Guys, if you run a business like I do, or if you manage a team, or again, even your family, you want to be able to make decisions that align with the word and with your goals, okay? Because the thing of it is just like the word says, that the enemy is prowling around like a roaring lion looking to steal, kill, and destroy. I'm blending those two verses together to show you that the enemy is out there to try and take us off of our game and out of alignment with God's will and purpose and plan. And if our decision-making and problem solving is off because our sleep sucks and because our stress is off and we're not moving enough, do you think that you're going to protect your family, your business, and your walk with the Lord as well, if at all? I'm going to say no, not as well. What do we need on sleep? Well, we need to focus for 2 hours of deep sleep. I'll explain what that is for, and 90 minutes of REM sleep. So deep sleep is for your body recovery. This is for the neck down, muscle repair, fat usage, testosterone, growth hormone. REM is going to be for the neck up, which is brain recovery, memory, cognition, emotional resilience, even mood at times, okay? Poor sleep lowers your testosterone and your growth hormone. Growth hormone is not just for growth. Growth hormone can affect your fat, all kinds of things as well. The sleep can actually affect how we talked about over here, your resting metabolic rate. Sleep can reduce your resting metabolic rate, which is how many calories you burn at rest, by up to 20%. That's a fifth. That's a big, big deal. All right. So when you know that your resting metabolic rate is responsible for the bulk of your metabolism, having 20% reduced is a big, big deal. So the good news is you can get 8 hours of sleep. You'll see why this is good news. You can get 8 hours of sleep and still feel exhausted if you're getting less than 90 minutes of REM or 2 hours of deep sleep. But you could also only get 5 hours of total sleep, but feel absolutely wonderful because you did get 2 hours of deep or 90 minutes of REM sleep. So it's not only about the length of total time, it really is getting deep sleep and REM sleep dialed in. Now, I'm not going to get into all of what fixes sleep. In my program, Joyfully Fit 365, I get very deep into there. What I will say is that blue light, staying up too late, certain foods, alcohol, all these things can affect your deep sleep and your REM sleep. But I'll just leave it there. I've got other videos where I talk about that, and I'll go pretty deep in another one too. Then lastly is force number 5. Force number 5 is alignment. This is your operating system, the glue that holds it all together, all right? What is it going to impact? Long-term consistency, goal clarity in your follow-through, identity-driven behavior, metabolism, habit formation, and habit stacking. That's huge. Mental bandwidth for being able to lead your family, your career, your church, whatever it is that you're leading, this is going to affect it. And lastly, emotional resilience when you're under stress and duress. And that is huge because, again, if you look around the world, it's not exactly normal times going on here, okay? So, and especially if, we'll just leave it there, all right? The world's kind of crazy right now. And probably not getting better if you follow the word, all right? So what do we need for alignment? Well, identity, lifestyle, alignment, structure, all right? Internal misalignment is going to increase cortisol because you're stressed out and you know it doesn't fit. Increases self-doubt because you start feeling like, well, dang, man, I must be lacking discipline and willpower because I'm not keeping up with my workouts or keeping up with my nutrition. What's wrong with me? And then lastly is decision fatigue, because if you're not setting things up right, you're going to be constantly making decisions. Should I do this or this? There's that food there. I'll just say no. And then later you say no again, and later no again. And then finally, after the end of the long stress day, you're like, okay, screw it. Yes, I'll have it. I've said no all day. I'm so tired. And that's what produces that fatigue that lets you cave, which leads back into self-doubt and more misalignment and increased cortisol, etc. Misaligned actions are going to create friction for you, inconsistency, mental burnout, and proper alignment is going to reduce your executive dysfunction so that you're able to make decisions quickly when needed under pressure, and it increases your willpower efficiency so that you're not feeling like you're in decision fatigue all the time. Alignment is also going to anchor your habits to your identity and your identity to your goals, and your goals, identity, and habits to the Word of God. And when you do this, it makes them automatic instead of effort-based. So it's no longer willpower that's getting you doing this. It is simply that your systems align with your lifestyle, and it's kind of like brushing your teeth. Does it take you any willpower to brush your teeth daily? What if you've had a really long day? Let me go even further. Does having a really bad day affect your ability, or does it affect your let's say your mindset to take a shower or to do some of those hygiene things? No, because it's already a habit. Your lifestyle is, I need to be clean and not have dragon breath when I show up to work or do whatever. So I brush my teeth and take a shower even when the day is crazy. The reason is because those two things, you've got a routine, it fits your lifestyle, and you're focused on the consequences of not doing that. This is alignment, all right? So when identity, strategy, and systems all align, consistency becomes self reinforcing. It no longer takes that same willpower. Isn't that an awesome thing? Now, here's what you need to know. The most important thing with all of this is that workouts alone are not going to fix your situation. Meal plans, a trainer, supplements, GLP-1s, lipo, any of these things. Guys, I've worked with people who have done pretty much all of them. A system that's designed to work from the outside only is broken, and it's never going to get you what you want. True transformation happens when the internal identity matches your external strategy, all right? So if you look here, this unhealthy burnout cycle, this is what we call a makeover built on sand. It's where you eat strict, you do low calories, maybe cardio, work with the trainer, all outside factors. It doesn't mean you won't see results, but the problem is you're going to lose some weight, maybe build some muscle, get some decreased body fat, but also some decreased muscle, also some decreased metabolism because you're not doing things the aligned way. That leads to increased appetite, less willpower, lower energy, and then we regain weight or we lose muscle because we've lost weight too quickly. And then we start the cycle over again if we don't pause for a little bit to go, screw this, I'm done, I'm tired. I got to get back to normal. And the reason you want to get back to normal is because this here is not normal. It is abnormal, all right? So the last part of this is that a joyfully fit transformation that is built on the rock looks like this. Notice there's two cycles. The healthy performance cycle is the one where we focus on the external. So we calculate the appropriate amount of calories, your total daily energy expenditure. We aim for a 15 to 20% deficit. We strength train 3 to 4 times a week, short duration workouts. We get 8 to 10,000 steps a day. We do the 80-20 rule for balanced protein, carbs, and fats. We focus on glycemic index, things that are all healthy, but also allows us to enjoy fun foods 20% of the time so that we're not craving things all the time and having cravings that go unmet, but yet we're not eating foods that make us feel like trash all the time. Then we get an increased basal metabolic rate. That's the same as resting metabolic rate, and we get decreased body fat from that. And then all we need to do is, because we're in sync, we just adjust our calories for the new body composition that we've got. And then if we need to, we do it again later. And then when you pair that with the healthy alignment cycle, which is we start with, we define who God's called you to be. We set a vision and outcomes that match that. And then we take massive imperfect action for consistency. We make sure that we tap into your deep why, your underlying motivation. What's your motive? Then we dismantle any conflicting beliefs and identity blocks that are going to hold you back from consistency. Then from there, we create this permanent identity aligned habit that gets you the results like a goal system does. That's it. When you have these two combined, you are not only going to get the results you want, you're going to stay fit like a fitness coach. So what I want you to think is this way over on the left, built on sand, this is what weight loss people and diet people and people trying to get fit do. This over here is what I do, all right? Now, I have been in shape for 20-something years now, other than when you saw me doing it the external way. But when I did it that way, I was constantly grinding, whereas I do it now, 39 years old, and I'll be honest, like my workouts are hard, but my workouts are shorter than ever. I dread them less than ever. I enjoy my food. I enjoy everything that I do. This is what we're talking about when you do it the aligned way that's built on the rock, all right? So with that said, there we go. What I want you to notice is I hope that you can see the difference. The world system is rigged to keep you in cycles of short-term hype, of crashing and shaming yourself repeatedly, losing weight, regaining it, getting in shape and going backwards. But when you build from the inside out on identity, on alignment, on truth, you shift from needing willpower mode and discipline mode all the time to sustainable transformation with significantly less effort. That's what we call building your health and fitness on the rock. So my question for you is, maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, wow, this makes sense. I totally get why I've not been able to get in shape and stay in shape. And now I'm looking to do just that. I want to get in shape, Lance, in a way that allows me to benefit my family, my walk with God, and my business instead of taking away from it. I want to be able to lose the excess weight, but I'm not focused on the scale. I just want to look better, feel better, and know that my body confidence and my body matches the success that I built in my family, my walk with the Lord, and my business. And if that's you, I want to invite you to click the link below and you can join me on a body transformation audit call. And what that is we're going to dive in and figure out for your specific life, what is it? What is it that you've done in the past that have kept you stuck? What is it right now? Maybe it's all or nothing mindset. Maybe you don't have your nutrition dialed in. Maybe it is dialed in, but your sleep and stress are way off. Or maybe you've got a major alignment issue and you're like, okay, great. What do I need to do to get in better alignment so that these results are permanent? That's what we're going to do on that call. Here's the good news though. If you're like me and you're like, man, I want to do this, but I don't want to get sold something that I'm not necessarily ready for, or I don't want pressure. I hear you. That's why what I do is I offer you this call where there's zero pitch, no sales, no offers, no nothing. It's my way of serving and showing you what we can get into better alignment. Then at the end of that call, if you go, hey, Lance, this sounds amazing. I'd actually like to know, like, what does it look like to, put this in place? We'll schedule another call. And on that call, I will show you what it looks like, what the steps are that we do. And you can determine if you want to do that on your own or if you'd like my help doing it. And it's as simple as that. So if that's you and you'd like to know more, this transformation audit call is literally 25 to 30 minutes long. It's free, no pressure. You've got nothing to lose other than the excess body fat, the stress, the low metabolism, the crappy thyroid function, et cetera, et cetera. So if that sounds like a plan to you, go ahead and click the link below. Join me on a call. We'll chat a little bit. We'll figure out what's in your way, what's going to be getting you out of the way to finally get you into the body confidence, the permanent transformation, and the lifestyle alignment that I know that you're after. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this video. So thank you guys so much. I know this is a little bit of a longer one, but it's one that I really wanted to show up and teach the things that I give my clients in my Joyfully Fit 365 program. So if you felt like this was helpful at all, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can let YouTube know that you want more content just like this. And guys, if this was helpful for you, and if you know somebody that is also a Bible follower as well, and you feel like this could help them, feel free to share this with them. Hopefully this can help them too, but I'm on a mission to help Bible following people to get into the best shape of their lives. And I don't mean just physiologically, mentally, spiritually, physically. That's what we're after. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you all on